Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Moonlighters Club. This is the last four things I've done. I felt real moonlighty. Like this is like dark, dank basement, depressing cavern vibes. But I like it. What's going on, Survival?
Chilling. I'm not in a dark, dank cavern, but you know, doing all right, hanging in there. It's
So the first time we
it's
talk,
pretty lit.
yeah, it is. It's this should be the way. This is the only way to moonlight. It's got to be suspect night. Everybody whispering. Like it should be like this. It should be like everybody's bootlegging. Uh, the first time we ever talked was 2017 or 16.
I think it was 17.
That's insane. So were you already married?
Yep.
Yep. Now I have married baby. You've multiples. Holy fuck, man.
Multiple children, not multiple marriages.
Yeah, no. That'd be way worse. But yeah, how's everything been going, man? I know we had to check in during COVID, and this was so for those who don't know, when we first interviewed, I know because I had moved back to Boston from Minnesota. You've done a lot of shit, bro. You were in a band, rapping. Then you left. Were doing your own thing, rapping. Then you were putting on variety shows. I think that's when we interviewed, when you put on a couple of variety shows at a couple of venues in Cambridge. That was pre Somerfest. Then it's 2020. How have you been? Like, what the fuck?
Good. For the most part, I've been doing pretty well. Like you mentioned, family expanding, right? Last Happy New Year to everyone,
Yeah.
as well. But in March of 23, my wife and I welcomed our second child. So you know, it was some growing pains, with the family. Summer came, we got to hang out and do a lot of stuff that we couldn't get to do when we were kind of confined to the house when the new baby came in the spring. And I haven't been able to do as much of the creative stuff that I want to do, because family has been taking up so much time. But in 2024, um, you know, as the kids get a little bit older, my oldest is going into kindergarten this upcoming fall. That'll allow me to kind of do some different things, both financially and with all of the free time that I'm gonna have with them in daycare and school, respectively.
How was the last Summerfest was 2022?
2022. Yep.
How was it? It was great, right? That was the one. Which train station was
It
that
was
by?
great. That was by Davis Square T Station, on the Red Line.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a park out there that I'd use for the second year in a row. Due to my uh kind of connection and affiliation with some of our arts council. So, shout out to them for being as helpful as they've been over the last couple of years to kind of help facilitate things. Yeah, it was good. Had some, vendors involved this time. We had, I think, 17 black owned vendors. That part of it was curated by a black owned boss. So shout out to them for, partnering with me to highlight vendors of color, here in the Boston area. Had, some great musical acts of color. Um, and we had a food truck pull up. So like all of these things were really new in terms of the evolution of the community festival. It was like, when we first started, it was just a stage and some music, and throughout the iterations, started to put a little bit more rigor around the actual experience for people that were coming in to enjoy music, maybe enjoy some food, maybe interact with vendors like I mentioned to get a more like cohesive experience.
Yeah, man. It's your third, right? That was your third, correct?
That
For summer.
was fourth.
Was it for Summerfest?
Yeah, it was 18, 19, took the COVID year off, and then 21 and 22.
Okay, so I only went to 18, 19. I
Yep.
know there was 121 and 22. Shit.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So I know you had a lot of stuff come up. By a lot of stuff, I mean family. It's weird, man. It's weird being a dad because there's so many times like you're like you're like I love my family, but you look at them and you're like, if not for you, I'd be so much greater.
I would be somewhere else. Yeah.
But
Um,
it's weird, man. It's not like you're
it's
wasting time doing something else. You're like, I
uh,
love you all, but
it's
shit.
yeah, it's a great obligation, but yeah, it's tough sometimes. You can feel a little stifled in the creative area and just like general availability. I've turned
Yeah.
down a lot of invitations to do things because I'm like, nah, you know.
Yeah. So I remember after the last Summerfest, did you have a plan of what you want to do, regardless of your personal situation? Or did you want
Yeah.
to keep doing those? Did you want to?
So the plan was to do it in 2023. My wife was, pregnant at the end of 2022, so like there was a really indicative mindset of on my part to at least plan and see what happens, with the baby. If I had enough time to maybe offload some of the tasks to other people. So I set out to do it. Like, the plan is kind of turnkey at this point because I'm just, it's a lot of it is rinse and repeat, and I'm just kind of adding, some small components to it. Like this year, I was like, okay, let me see if we can add some sponsorships to it. And like the sponsorships would allow me to do a couple of different things into, financially. It will allow me to bring people on to run the day to day. Like that's, well, it's a singular event, but you know what I mean? Like the day to
Yeah.
day leading up to the event and then day of. So I could kind of take a step back and I could do a little bit more delegation. And it allows a lot more freedom to kind of leverage the funds and different ways that enhance experience. So I was looking to do that. And funny enough, the I think they're the third largest spirits company in the world. Diageo reached out to me probably a month after I decided like this is too much. I'm just gonna postpone it. And so it was really bad timing, for me. But I got to know the events coordinator there, um, the regional events coordinator, in order to kind of see if there would be something that we could do, in the future, a little partnership, a little sponsorship. And I ended up, you know, passing off that contact to someone that I know that actually got some good, usage out of the connection. So, I felt I felt good about that because I didn't want to waste that opportunity. But at the same time, it was like, hey, I got a lot going on. I'm gonna punt until next year, and it's in a public space, so we couldn't have done alcohol anyway. We could have gotten creative with it, but it's just one of those things where the plan got put in place. Couldn't execute it like I wanted to, but I feel confident about being able to do it in coming years.
Yeah. I for doing events, I don't understand the not being able to drink like in certain areas or needing to have a liquor license. It's so annoying. It adds
Yeah,
so much nonsense to the process. You're like, bro, come on, man.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so how was work for 2022
Um,
or 2023? Excuse me, it's 2024 now. Shit.
yes.
Yeah.
It's about the same as it ever was. I think I'm in a fairly unique position where I work in tech, and a lot of the stuff that I can do related to my job, I can automate in a lot of ways. And so that also gives me a little bit of extra flexibility to help out around the house because I work at home. I work from home. So for, up until November of last year, that basically encapsulated taking care of my son, because he wasn't eligible for daycare, right? So, um, work has been, okay in the sense that, it helps to facilitate a really healthy work life balance. Um, but I like to, stay hungry and stay healthy with, outside ventures, that kind of help me to, be a little bit more creative and not so, data oriented, like in my day to day.
I forgot what I was just about to ask you. Hopefully, spring's back. Spring's back. It's about work. Work being good. Work might being shitty. Uh, oh, that's what I was gonna ask. Speaking of bad, have you all been forced to come back to the office? Will that has that happened for your tech company?
No, it has not. It's luckily been a pretty accommodating situation whereby, if you want to go in, you're allowed to go in. Your badge still works and all that stuff. But if you don't want to, you know, take that hour commute commuter rail, uh, there and back, and walking in the cold rain, and doing that all that nonsense to actually get there, and uh waste a lot of valuable time, then you can work from home and enjoy all the fruits of what you have around the house. So that part's been really cool.
That's the thing about Boston is like I was living in Jamaica Plain before I moved to DC, and that is in the city. The worst part about it is the T has gotten so bad now. All commutes
Hmm.
are like
Hmm.
45 minutes. So
Yeah.
when it's cold, like that was one of the reasons Sinead can my wife convinced me to get up out of there because I'm like I don't want to leave, but it got to the point where you're like it's cold, we have to go. I'd be surprised if like 60% of those offices don't just collapse unless it's like finance because they don't have a say. Like they're going to be in the office even if it was an Armageddon.
Yeah.
Uh, but I did, yeah. It's I don't mind it. I don't mind going in the office. Like sometimes I like being with coworkers, but when the commute is not fun every single day, it's time to find an alternative, or
Hmm.
everyone's just miserable for the first 2 hours. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and I think part of that, was the impetus for like the moonlighting, if you want to call it that, or the side hustle, or it's
Nice.
just like what
I like how
what
you
are we
threw that in
doing?
there.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? What's this for? If I could use my time a little bit more wisely, and things that are invaluable to me, like and my values, and things like that, then I'm gonna try to pursue them, because this ain't it.
Yeah, there's so many. Like I don't knock employment. I don't. Neither of us do.
I
But
do. No, I do. Why?
we're consistently reminded about how bad it is. Like we talk often. We have a shared Slack channel. We're reminded, like out of outside external forces, about why employment is so messed up all the time. It makes it so hard to champion it because you're like, yeah, I want to put all if I want to put all my faith in this, sure. But then you're reminded massive layoffs. CEO yells at employees. Employees get beat every day. You're just like, bro, like you're
Yeah.
making it really hard for me to just be like, yeah, let me coast. I just want to work. I just want to coast here. Especially from my point
Yeah.
of view. I got laid off, so I can't really champion anything. I'm just like, nah,
Right.
man.
Exactly.
This didn't really work out for me.
Yeah, it's it's tough. But it's a necessary evil,
Yeah.
I suppose, and where we are, societally. Um, but again, like personally, I think it's really important to find those things that make you happy, and pursue them in whatever degree that you feel you can contribute, because in that way it helped me to kind of counterbalance all the bullshit and all the kind of emptiness that I was feeling. So it's been really really cool to invest in something and then also see it grow.
Yeah.
That's been um really, really, that's pleased me a lot.
Yeah, you're really good at just doing stuff that seems like really complicated to me. Like I finally adopted your way of doing things. This past showcase, I was just like, "Okay, this is gonna happen." You're just like, it's not. You can overcomplicate things, but
Yeah,
you're really good about doing stuff that seems really complicated when you walk in. Like I've always appreciated Summerfest because you see it; it improves every time. But even the first one, you're like, "This is a lot." Not like daunting a lot, but you're like, "This." You're producing a lot for the public here. So
yeah,
I've always admired the fact that you're like, "Nope, I got a plan. I'll just lay the plan out and do it." Because I think it's really easy for anyone to overestimate the amount of work that's going into something or to see someone else doing something. And then you assume there's so much, especially the people that we work for. You assume, oh, this person's got to be a genius. That's why they're doing it. And you're like, no, not really, bro. They just kind of
yeah,
lay a bunch of stuff out and do it.
yeah.
You got something in the works, man. So what's going to be the next phase?
I was operating Summerfest kind of as a sole proprietorship, in the sense that um, it you don't have to legally do anything to do things that you want, in terms of services and goods. I think the the part of it that's really funny for me was like I wasn't interested in the monetary part of it. I was just interested in like providing the service. Because I just wanted to do stuff and just see what happened and see if it could evolve into something. And it has. So I think it's time to, kind of take that legal and administrative leap and file for an LLC and all of the spare time that I had in 2023, I was putting together a business plan. In the sense of like what is the product going to be for the public, and it'll be similar to Summerfest in that it'll be events, but I'm going to dial it back and do some smaller events and hoping to partner with again a lot of black and brown owned businesses in the community for space, because I think a lot of these spaces are under leveraged and underutilized. And secondarily, there could be a lot more garnered interest in going to these, black owned uh, shops and places that are largely brick and mortar. So I want to help in that way to bring attention to some of these businesses while also helping myself grow as a business professional, and then someone who's going to be a small business owner. And yeah, so I think the next step will just kind of be putting together that administrative stuff, kind of strengthening my network, and then kind of really relaunching the brand, because Summerfest is really unique to Somerville, Massachusetts. So it doesn't really have that ubiquity that you want out of it, especially if it were to, you got to kind of look pie in the sky and hope that everything grows the way that you want it to. Let's say that we were having this in DC, in concert with Moonlighters Club or whatever. We kind of move into that market. Summerfest isn't really going to make sense, so we want to make sure that we're um, we, as if there's other people. I want to make sure that there's the ability to have a rebrand and have something that is not so tied to one community, um, where everything really started for me, but it's kind of native to all the communities.
Yeah, there's definitely a ton of people, excuse me, in the Boston area. You should definitely connect with like people
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of talking to, like live like
Hmm.
Eugene, basically the Boston Ujima project. Because I can just think of this really nice venues I've been able to see through that. Like Kush, we went to Kush Crew.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and live like a local tour. So I'm pretty sure you've seen just as like there's so many for the mission matches.
Right.
It's funny that you say that, man. It's like I was thinking about like revenue and like we're doing the showcases. It's cool, but the tough thing is like events as uh, a product. I don't want to help some lame ass company do events because you like you're like, bro, like let me just get like because you do want to make revenue, but I'm like, do I really don't want that because it is somewhat just
Yeah.
be like, yo, here's this awful fake, get it
Oh
done.
man.
You're like, bro, no,
Yeah.
like no,
Yeah.
I it's like I want to do this, but the idea behind the event is probably the best part about it, as opposed to me just doing a bunch of logistical work.
Hmm.
Um, what style of events? What do you prefer? Do you like the intimate, cozy? Are you nah, man? Like go big. Like do you
Um,
what do you think you'll like more?
I think that the intimate, cozier shows will be more of a draw. Um, for the simple fact that they're more rinsable and repeatable. You can have multiple in the same night. You can have
Mm,
multiple, um, throughout the week, things like that. The harder shows are logistically more challenging, and it's a lot of work to go into it. Like I probably spend, a year planning for each Summerfest, and it's a lot of work day of. So I couldn't imagine doing that, I don't know, 52 times a year, let's
yeah,
say.
yeah,
But also like I want to keep the mystique of it, like have one marquee event per year. So I'm thinking of peppering, some smaller, more intimate events, and they don't have to be musical per se. Um, Although that's sort of uh, what the customer that I'm envisioning is going to prefer. But we just want to create a really inclusive space for people that are creative and want a performative outlet to come do their thing.
the tough thing for me like is rapping with like just going for like just moonlighter stuff in general. Like, yo, we got the showcase. Yo, you got to hear my tracks. I'm like, okay, look, I don't mean to shit on your dream, but you're like dude number 80. Like, does no one do poetry? Like, does anyone
Yeah,
else sing? That
yeah,
has been the only
exactly.
tough thing for me, where it's like I can't have so many of
Yeah,
these, bro.
it's
Like, good luck.
yeah. I done all the booking for Summerfest and all the variety shows and stuff like that, and I think that I'm making a really, really conscious effort to keep it uh, not homogenous.
Yeah,
And like, hip hop and rap music, um, it's my favorite genre, but I think that there are other people that in these kind of recesses of musical genres now, because hip hop is so big,
yeah.
that are really, really talented, and we want to still have some space for those people as well. So that's the kind of environment that I want to foster, and yeah, there's a lot of opportunity to kind of do with it what I want. Um, so we'll try some things, and whatever sticks sticks, and whatever doesn't, we'll pivot.
Ideally, when would you like to kick this baby off?
Um, that's a good question. Um, it's winter 2024. I would say probably in the second half of 2024. Maybe around July. Make sure to kind of capture some of the summer audience, because
Hmm.
the smaller intimate shows, they don't necessarily have to be indoors. They can be intimate and outdoors, and we want to make do with some of the make use of some of the good weather that we get, the rare rare good weather that we get here in the Boston area. And maybe do just start with a half dozen shows, um figure it out, take some losses, and then figure out how to do it bigger and better in 2025.
Nice. Do you have is it anything in mind yet for that first show? Venue style, type of place, or no? You're just gonna figure it out when
No,
you get closer.
no, I don't have anything in mind. Like I mentioned, I want to augment my network, kind of see who's out there,
Mm,
and I'm gonna be doing a lot of cold calling, and trying to meet up with people, in the community just kind of put a face to like, the idea. And I think it's it's largely in these early days about, who's gonna be the first one to say yes,
Yeah.
really. And all I can do is sort of reference all the stuff that I've done in the past, and what some of my favorite venues were. But we'll do whatever. I think that's one of the unique things about the idea is we're going to be leveraging all types of spaces, especially underutilized spaces. So whatever that space looks like, we're going to be interested.
Yeah, I gotta before the next showcase, which I think is gonna be April, I'm gonna do smaller events.
Mhm.
My only issue is I don't know what to call any events, so all the names are terrible. It's like Moonlighters Showcase,
Yeah,
Moonlighters Hangout, Moonlighters Hang. I just need to
e-
give it the most ridiculous name ever to see what sticks.
exactly.
Like
And
the night of the three prongs. Maybe we'll do three events on a week.
here we go.
The three
Here we
prong
go.
approach.
That's what I was going
Uh,
to suggest, but you took it.
I think that's the best way to do it though. Like you could just start chill. Um, Literally just get like five folks who are like, yes, this is nice. And it's like, cool, we'll be at so and so night. People love that, man, especially like in the black owned businesses in the black space. I think what we've done really well is the whole promoter thing
Mhm.
in terms of folks being like, no, that group is putting on a party. I think the difference is though, like after a while, that stuff gets old. I don't know when it gets old for everyone, but it's just
Mhm.
basically a much better version of it because you're like, nah, I'm gonna come to this store. There'll be more happening, and you can also do it at a bunch of different types of venues.
Yep.
Um, which and like it's funny. Both of us grew up in Boston. I would have never like imagine having this business idea in 1993. They'd be like, no, all
Yeah.
two places, like no. But
Yeah.
now there's
Yeah.
a ton of places to go to, so I'm pumped, man. I think this is going to be good. I'll definitely be around Boston, so I'll definitely come through and check out. Um, yeah, check out the stuff when I get a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. You can actually do it out here too. There's black people everywhere. It's great in the DMV
Yeah,
area.
that's the beauty of of us. We're everywhere. So I
uh,
mean, again, like, if we're dreaming big, like that's kind of the goal, is
yeah.
to expand beyond the community that I'm in to communities where we all are. So
Yeah. Second
yeah.
half of 2024. You doing Summerfest this year, or are you gonna chill on that and do the smaller things, or
We'll see. I think that if I do something, and it's one of those six shows is a bigger show, I may try to look elsewhere. Um, I don't want to kind of count my chickens before they hatch, but
mm,
if I can, you know, uh, make sure that I'm looking outside my comfort zone and the pocket that I was in prior to 2024, then it'll just help to have those conversations in the future. If I stick with Somerville, like, yes, it's great and it's a known commodity, but I'm also trying to you know come out of my shell a little bit more in 2024 and think of some different avenues, for everything.
I like it. Go to Lemonster next. Or
Probably not that specific. I mean, black folks, if you're there, we love you. I'm probably not coming for you. But
I tried to pick the Massachusetts
um,
towns with the worst possible names, like April Fest, Lemons. The places are
yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
Uh,
that's and that'll be tricky, with naming all these shows in the future. So that's why it has to be a little bit broader, because I don't think that's
yeah.
gonna fly with Peabody Fest or whatever.
Well, I'm excited, man. You got the second half of the year. Hopefully, like hopefully we can see that, and we'll see if Summerfest pops
Yeah,
off.
fingers crossed.
Yeah,
I, I'm my own worst enemy in this process. And I've talked to people that that have started businesses in 2023, and it's it's kind of like this. it's like you're all vegans, but I mean like in the way that you're like, come on, man, you got to try it. Like, like everyone's trying to like recruit me. So, but yeah, like I'm looking forward to like kind of dipping my pool into the small business owner ecosystem.
Yeah, I think the network can be key. And I'm happy to help in any way I can. It's been interesting, this whole job search. Like, there have been some that I look and get ready to hit submit, and I'm just like, oh, because you could just feel the corporate oppression coming down, and like you're just looking
You
at
feel
it.
like a defeat. Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
holy Jesus. But
yeah.
no, we're gonna keep an eye out on that. If there's any way we can help, we can. We'll definitely be making some intros because there's a ton of folks doing good things. Right up the alley of what you're looking to do. So I
Mhm.
definitely know we'll be able to get some stuff cracking. Anything else you want to tell to the folks before we dip?
Nothing about me. It's, I just been kind of professing it, all throughout our conversation. Stay positive out there and try things that interest you, try things that you're passionate about, because there's always some time to kind of tinker with your ideas on the side. So if you're not happy with your job, completely like I was, and to a lesser degree, it's still like that now. There's always something to look forward to, you know, outside of whatever that scope is.
Nice. Well, Rob, thanks for taking the time. I know you got a lot going on, so I appreciate it. It's 9 o'clock and I'm ready to go to sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that fatherhood just it catches up with your ass at like 8:15, because when you schedule this for 8:15, I was like, "Ah, I'm normally lying horizontally on the couch, but yeah, I'll do this for you."
I appreciate it. It's I'm going to sleep right after that, so I appreciate it. But yeah, man, we're excited for everyone listening. Keep an eye out. I'll make sure to keep it updated on our IG page, LinkedIn page, and whatever when you got your stuff going. Hopefully, I can get there myself. So I appreciate you coming on, and you've done big things already. So I just expect these things to happen later this year because you're pretty good at getting it out. So
Gotta put in the work.
yeah,
So yeah, that's another small piece of advice for folks. Just put in the work.
we appreciate it, man. Well, everyone listening, put in the work, keep your head up, find time to do the things that you like to do, be beneficial in, and also just patience. Like to see the amount of growth that has happened between the two of us in the past like 5 years is actually fairly crazy. So everything's just gotten that much easier when it's time to act. So for those listening, thanks. We'll see you on the next one.